Hi, everyone. It is Wednesday night, May 15th, and today we are going to talk about sleep. How do you lose weight while you sleep? And so I'll wait a second for people to get on, but this is definitely a very important topic. It's something that I see a lot of people struggling with right now, which makes sense given the way things are in the world and all the stress that, end of the school year brings and the crazy weather we've had, all those things can make a difference. But what I want to teach you today is just, kind of talk about the importance of sleep and really hone in on the whole circadian rhythm thing. It is so important. Hi, Elena. Thanks for joining. And just talk about how many things you can do behaviorally to help your sleep and just make it a sleep capsule, like I used to call it. The other thing is just, kind of understand the relationship between sleep and weight. I was going to mention, but I'll say it now. There are some patients where I've done nothing to their diet, nothing to their exercise, but I've changed their sleep. And they started to, after being stuck for a while, started to lose weight again. So that's how important sleep is with weight loss. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Antoinette. Nice to see you guys. So, I can't undermine the importance of sleep, and especially when it comes to losing weight. Such a important factor. So we got some people on. Let's get started, and people can join as they come. Not too long. We'll just kind of hone in the highlights and then come up with some solutions. Okay. So first of all, why is sleep so important? So something I like to think about is the fact that, just like you charge your cell phone at night, you plug it in, the battery charges. When you go to bed, you're actually charging your body. Think of your body like a battery that you're charging and, getting it ready for the next day so that it can function. So during the time that you sleep, your body's working to support healthy brain function and maintain your physical health, okay? Super important. And then in children, and if you've ever had a puppy, you've seen this, all they do is sleep all the time, but it's a really important part of growing. So if you've got kids that are, in their growth periods and they're staying up or not getting enough sleep, really important to get them getting for kids, a good 8 hours. For us, the optimum sleep is somewhere between 7 and 9 hours. And anything less than 6 hours for adults actually has been shown to be associated with like accidents and poor health. So try really hard to get, a good 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Hey, Sa, how are you? Samo? So, growth hormone for kids, regular physical health for the rest of us. So getting adequate sleep does the following. It supports your immune system. So you've probably noticed, and it's kind of counterintuitive when you go to a hospital, you never sleep. So it's important to get out of there soon so that you can actually boost your immune system to fight the infections. And one of the strategies of things like viruses or infections to get us is they keep us up at night, so we can't support our immune health. So sleep is huge for immune health. Helps you stay at a healthy weight, and we'll talk about that more. Lowers your risk for serious health problems like diabetes and heart disease. Both of these increase when you have poor sleep. And reduces stress, improves your mood. We all know that. Hi, Suzanne. We all know that mood is better if we sleep. We certainly are, more nicer to people, maybe a little less testy. So definitely helps with that. And then it helps us think more clearly and concentrate more. Okay. So how does sleep relate to weight loss? So it's interesting because it's kind of like a catch-21 or catch-22, however you say it. But poor sleep leads to obesity, and we'll talk about that hormonally. But being overweight can lead to sleep issues too, which can worsen obesity. So having diseases that are related to obesity like sleep apnea, reflux, depression, asthma, arthritis, all of those things can keep you up, which makes it harder to sleep, which makes you gain more weight, right? So that can happen just because of the obesity. And then when you don't sleep, we've got a hormonal dysregulation that happens. So ghrelin, which is our hunger hormone, rises, making us hungrier. And leptin, which is a satiety hormone, actually decreases, making us less full. The other thing is growth hormone. So when we don't sleep, growth hormone actually decreases And that actually, as we talked about, can cause problems with growth, right? And then elevated cortisol levels, which we know can cause weight gain, right? So all are important in important regulators of our sleep, and poor sleep leads to complete dysfunction of these hormones. Poor sleep also leads to poor food choices, right? So when we don't sleep, we tend to eat more carbs, we tend to eat more sugar to stay awake. We tend to choose foods that help feed our fatigue the next day. Remember, carbs beget carbs. So if you wake up the next day, and, after only sleeping a couple hours, you grab a carb, then the rest of your day is pretty much, ruined, because you're going to eat carbs all day long and ride the carb wave, right? So that is something that you have to be really careful of. And we tend to go for things that give us serotonin, and carbs give us serotonin through tryptophan. And then, sugar doesn't give us serotonin, but it gives us sugar, which keeps us awake, or at least for a period of time until we crash, and then we need more sugar. So all of those things can lead to weight gain when we don't sleep. All right. Now, the other thing too is exercise, right? So when you don't sleep, you tend to exercise less. And when you're less apt to actually go out and exercise or get up the next morning and prepare yourself to go do that. So that's a whole nother issue too. All right, so to drive the point home, there was a study about sleep and weight gain. There was a study of 68,000 people and found that those who slept less than 6 hours a night weighed an average of 5 pounds more and were 15% more likely to be overweight than those who slept more than 7 hours a night. So just an hour or two can make a huge difference in how you do weight-wise. So if you're, trying to get that final report out, or, finishing your homework if you're a student, and you think, I can just stay up one more hour and, it's not going to make a difference. It can definitely make a difference weight-wise, just even a single hour. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. So how do you improve your sleep? Well, let's talk about sleep hygiene, number one. And I found a really nice article by the Sleep Foundation, and hopefully we'll put the link up there. But this is really, really good to help with sleep hygiene. So first of all, keep a set schedule. Okay, so go to bed and rise at about the same time every day if you can. Now, if you throw it off by an hour or two because you're it's a weekend and you want to just sleep in or whatever. Thank you very much, Elena. Then that's fine. But you want to, it's all about circadian rhythms, sleep, wake, sleep, wake. And so if you change your schedule too much, if you vary it too much, it's going to make it harder for your brain, the pineal gland, which secretes melatonin, to actually get that rhythm down. Okay. So, really try hard to keep a good rhythm, number one. Okay. Have a ritual. Prepare your sleep castle, go into your room in your brain knowing that you're getting ready to go to bed, okay? Don't start work, don't, open up your screens, we'll talk about that. And just focus on sleep, okay? It seems like sleep is one of those things that we sort of put last when we're done with everything else we have to do in the day, and which makes sense, right? It's at nighttime. But we rush. I see this a lot with my patients. And then lay down and be like, okay, I gotta sleep now. Right? And it doesn't work that way. We have to prepare ourselves. Our brain needs to know that it's time to go to bed, and it secretes things in a specific order so that it supports our sleep. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. So keep a set schedule. Number two, keep the room cool. Okay? You want to keep it at like 68 degrees-ish or maybe a little lower. You don't want to go higher than that because, again, our body it assimilates cool with sleep. Okay, so make sure you've got really good temperature control. Next is invest in a good mattress. So, there are things we spend a lot of money on, which can be on the frivolous side, and then there's things that really make a difference in our quality of life. And a good mattress, good pillows is going to support good sleep, which is going to give you a better quality of life, right? So, and I was just kind of floored by some of the technology in the mattresses that are out there now. So there's something called a Pod 4. It's from a company called Eat Sleep. And what it does is it actually has sensors all around the mattress, and it adjusts your sleep it looks at your sleep behaviors and adjusts the mattress in order to support that, including like raising it up if you're snoring, bringing it back down, turning you a little bit if you're moving too much, you know. So you can find some things out there that are amazing that will help support your sleep mattress wise. Okay, let's talk about light. This is so important. Our brain needs to have darkness in the room. Okay, so get things like blackout curtains, you know, anything that can just really keep the room dark. Wear one of those masks that you put over your eyes. It really is kind of amazing how much light affects sleep. So circadian rhythms respond to light, which makes sense. So any light in the room can throw that off. Artificial light, like light we get from, you know, screens and stuff, that actually increases our blood pressure and our heart rate. Okay, so and then the brighter the light and the longer it's on, the greater the hypertensive response. So you really want to make sure that you take care of the darkness issue. And then the other part too is when this is kind of interesting, but if you have too much light in the room, it actually can increase insulin resistance, which is interesting. Now, it may just be because you're not sleeping, which increases obesity, which increases insulin resistance, but I thought that was pretty interesting. And then let's talk about screen time. So, no pre-bed screens, okay? And this is another thing that we don't even realize. It's, you know, very common for us to just grab our phone and just, you know, scroll through, check a couple messages, text a friend, whatever, before we go to bed. But here's some very interesting things about screens. It disrupts your circadian rhythm and also confuses your body. So it alters functions like heart rate, cellular recovery, and can lead to other health problems. Okay, so you know, it's tough because if you have a Kindle, it's on a screen. If you read books on, you know, on your iPad or on your iPhone screen, right? But try to get just like regular books if you can, and have a low light as you read them. Or do other things, journal, you know, just whatever you can do to get away from the screen time, because it does affect your circadian rhythm so profoundly. All right. There's that one. Okay, next is sleeping with the TV on. How many of you out there sleep with the TV on or know someone who does? This is tough. I have a patient who actually has a husband who can only fall asleep with the TV on, and it drives her crazy. So she goes to bed. Her name will not be mentioned, but she goes to bed early so that she could fall asleep before he gets in bed to turn the TV on. So it's amazing what we put up with our spouses. But if you like to sleep with the TV on, here's an important fact to remember. It leads to 20% risk of gaining 11 pounds over 5 years. Okay? So to me, that is a significant number. And it's not, and I think most of us know, you're going to wake up, you're going to, you know, you're going to be all screwed up with timing when you have the TV on, and a host of other things. So remember that 11 pounds over 5 years and a 20% risk of gaining that if you are someone that sleeps with the TV on. All right, now let's talk about naps. Who doesn't like a good nap? So if you are a napper, limit your nap to 20 to 30 minutes, okay? And we're going to go back to circadian rhythms again. But if you nap longer than that, then you're throwing your rhythms off. You're getting your pineal gland all screwed up. It doesn't know when to secrete melatonin. And you're just not going to have a good night's sleep, okay? So naps, 20 to 30 minutes, are restorative. More than that are actually going to complicate your sleep and make it harder to sleep at nighttime, all right? Okay, be careful not to eat too late, because digestive issues can cause problems with sleep, and also just doesn't, you know, often doesn't help your diet too much, right? So be careful for that. Watch caffeine. Now, I saw one paper that said caffeine stays in your body for a good 9 hours, which, I mean, boy, 9 hours if you go to bed at, you know, 11 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock, right? You got to stop at 2. So I think that's, I don't know, that seems a little extreme to me, but I definitely wouldn't drink it, anything caffeinated past like 5. I think that's reasonable because of obvious reasons, right? It's activating, increases your heart rate, makes you more alert, makes it harder to fall asleep. All right. And then, of course, don't drink too much water before you go to bed. For obvious reasons. You have to get up and go to the bathroom. Try to load your water up earlier in the day and just minimal overnight. Okay, now this is a really important one, I think. Because people are so stressed that I'm seeing in the office lately, I think it's really important, and a lot of people are, because of the shortage of workers, working, more hours and working harder than they did before because they're doing the job of more than one person often. So I see a lot of people, going to bed or trying to fall asleep with their head just kind of spinning about all the things during the day. So I like this option, and I tell people this quite a bit. But before you go to bed, just grab a book or something that you can write all these worrisome thoughts down on. And as soon as you get everything down that you want to, that's bothering you and that you want to focus on the next day, just close that book and then stick it under your bed and put it someplace where, your thoughts are captured. You're not going to have to worry about it, but you're going to, have it close and available if you need it. All right. And what you'll find is that it's almost like it turns a switch off in your brain and says, I think I can go to bed now because everything that I need to do tomorrow is in that book and there is an endpoint right there. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. I do find that to be helpful for people. Okay. Now, if you fall asleep but wake up, then that is something that is a little different. And I think as we get older, we go to the bathroom or, we're drinking water maybe too late and we have to go potty or whatever. But if you're a middle-aged man, look for a prostate problem because that can actually affect urination. And there's many procedures that you can get done or medications that you can take that will help that so you sleep through the night. Don't put up with it. For women, obviously, menopause or perimenopause can cause sleep issues. It's one of the first things to go. So if you are struggling with falling asleep and then waking up and then having trouble going back to sleep, get your hormones checked and consider replacing them. And even if you're still having normal periods, replacing testosterone is a very important hormone that helps with sleep. Progesterone, which tends to fall off a little early, is a very calming hormone, which you can give at night. Okay, so get those things checked. All right. How are we doing so far? Let me see if any questions are missed. Nope. So far, so good. Let me grab a sip and we'll keep going. Hopefully this is helpful. Now what we're going to do, we're going to talk about how to treat it. Okay. So the first thing that we talked about obviously is behavioral modifications and, pay close attention to the things we talked about and really get your room prepared to be like a sleep castle. And think about it as the place I go to sleep, not the place that I work, not the place that I, necessarily do a host of other things. But when I go in that room, I'm going to bed, and that really does help. Okay, so behaviors are number one. Next is different types of medications you can take. So first, let's just start with over-the-counter medications, and probably all of you have heard of melatonin, and we've talked about it a couple times now. But if you're going to get over-the-counter melatonin, make sure you get a high-quality brand. There's some real junk out there, and never go higher than 5 milligrams. If you go higher than 5 milligrams, you're going to stop making your own melatonin, and then it's going to be harder and harder to fall asleep. So nothing more than 5 milligrams. All right. The next thing I see a lot of is things like Tylenol PM or ZzzQuil or, some of these other things. A lot of these have Benadryl in them, which is an antihistamine. Okay. So Benadryl is a great antihistamine. It can make you sleepy. But you just have to be careful that it doesn't make you so sleepy that you can't get up the next day. So those things are fine. Antihistamines are fine to take. They're not addicting. If you have allergies like I do, they can make things better from that standpoint too. But it's always good to work on the behavioral pieces first before you add any medications, which I'm sure makes sense. So Tylenol PM, that's another one that has Benadryl in it. ZzzQuil has Benadryl in it. Those most of the over-counter ones are things that have a antihistamine like Benadryl in it. All right, this is my favorite that I started to do, and we have it on our website at Metagenics, And it is a great, great supplement. And it's magnesium glycinate. You take 1 to 2 at night before you go to bed, and you're going to notice a huge difference. You're going to fall asleep easier. You're going to have deeper sleep. And when you wake up, you're going to feel more refreshed. And most of us are low in magnesium anyhow. Glycinate tends to be a compound that doesn't affect like our gut, so you're not going to have to be running to the bathroom in the middle of the night or anything like that. And it's very well tolerated. So hopefully Elena will put the link to that on there. But magnesium glycinate, 1 to 200 a night, is my favorite supplement for sleep, because thank you so much, because we all tend to be low anyhow, and it works great. All right, now we also have a couple other sleep products that Metagenics has created, all of which are very good. 2 new ones are in particular. One is melatonin free. So if you're someone who just feels like, I can't take melatonin, it just really bothers me, then try the TranQ Sleep, TRANQ, and Sleep. And what this is it's purely herbal, and it's melatonin free, and it includes passion flower, which activates GABA receptors. Now, we haven't talked about this, but GABA is the calming hormone in our brain that gets us ready to go to bed, and also just kind of keeps us calm. It's a system that works, in tandem with epinephrine to try to keep us, not too high and not too low. GABA is the one that, we use to help us sleep a lot. And so anyhow, TranQ Sleep has passion flower, which activates GABA receptors to make you more sleepy. Jujube, which promotes relaxation and decreases anxiety. And then California Poppy, which also activates GABA. It also has lavender oil in it. Again, a GABA activator. So very good product. Give it a try. There is a link right there on the website. A link right there in the chat. Next one is MetaSleep, and I love this product because it has sustained release melatonin in it. So it's nice because it releases slowly over time, so you're not getting a big hit of melatonin that wears off. It releases in a very steady state fashion, so you get it all throughout the night. So MetaSleep, META Sleep. And it also has something called Caviton, which is from the Kava plant, and it also, again, GABA receptors, and it interacts with GABA receptors, and it calms us down and promotes relaxation. All right. And then finally, I guess I sort of put this on over the counter. Thank you again, Elena. But CBD is very popular to help people go to sleep, and it works very well. I would encourage you to talk to people before you decide where to get it, because there's, again, good and bad. Watch the THC component of it. Some people respond well to that and it helps them sleep. Other people, it kind of can make them a little bit loopy and keep them up. So there is Full Spectrum, which has THC, and I forget, there's Full, and then there's, I forget the other name, Low Spectrum or something like that, which does not have THC. So either way, it is a good solution. It works very well, but you want to be able to get the right amount with the right combination. Okay. So finally, let's talk about prescription sleep meds, and I'll give you my opinions about these. So first of all, sleep is so important that, if you've gone a couple days where you've just been tossing and turning, it's important to, take something to reset. And again, go through the behaviors first, go through the, the things that are safe, over the counter, herbal. Those are your best bets. But if you're at a place where you need something a little bit more, here's the options that are available from pharmaceutical. And one is hydroxyzine. And hydroxyzine is an antihistamine as well. And you take it 1 to 3 times a day for anxiety. You can just take it at nighttime to help with sleep. It does work very well. And again, as an antihistamine, it's very benign. So that's a good one. We've already talked about Benadryl, Zyrtec, Claritin. Any of the antihistamines in general work very well to help with sleep and are very benign, and they can help your allergies. Something like benzodiazepines. I'm okay with these, temporarily, but you don't want to make a habit of taking a medication like Xanax or lorazepam, Klonopin, every night. Because what can happen is your body then develops a tolerance to it, and then you need more to fall asleep. Okay, so important to not rely on the meds like that, and to work harder on the other pieces of the puzzle. And then if you have to use them to help you because you're having a rough night, it's fine to do it like, a couple times a week or less, but you definitely don't want to take it every night for the reasons I mentioned. So many of you have heard of Ambien, and it does work for some folks. I have people who have had like traumatic brain injuries, and this is the only way they can sleep, and it works for them. So, sleep is, again, so important that you shouldn't be afraid to take anything, and stay awake for night after night. But you just want to be careful and just know what you're getting into if you do. So Ambien, again, it works for some people. It comes in 5 to 10 milligrams. You have to be careful with using it in the elderly because they can hallucinate. And then you also have to be careful with sleepwalking. Like, it's a big sleepwalking side effect. People get up in the middle of the night and sometimes cook. I had a woman who drove away from her children and ended up on the other side of town. Be careful if you are a sleepwalker. You definitely don't want to take this medication. And some people have had bad dreams or nightmares, on different sleep aids. So just always, try it on the weekend and make sure you can tolerate it before you make it a habit. So that's Ambien. Ambien is in the benzodiazepine family. So, it does have addicting qualities, but if you're someone who just can't sleep no matter what, I have seen it do wonders for some people. And then this is actually my favorite sleep aid, which when people are really struggling, I like to use because it does not have any addictive potential, and it does work. And it's called Trazodone. And Trazodone is a non-addicting sleep aid that we're not really quite sure how it works, but we think it works on the serotonin receptors, and just kind of tells us it's time to go to bed and put you in a nice deep sleep. Some people feel it makes them drowsy the next day. Everybody's different. You just have to try it out and see what you think. But a good, small dose like 50 milligrams to 100 milligrams at night can be a game changer for some people. That's all I have. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful to you guys. I had a question from one person, Cora, who said, I fall asleep easily but can't stay asleep. I wake up multiple times during the night. And so I think we did sort of talk about this a little bit, and that just has to do with, making sure that, especially hormonally, if you're in that 40 or 40 plus age group and you're starting to have sleep problems as a woman, you definitely want to get your hormones checked. And some people can have kind of messed up sleep-wake cycles and need something to help with that too. But the best thing to do is to get a sleep study. And if that's the case, I'm going to go with common things first, which is, hormones and stuff like that. But if all else fails, get a sleep study so they can see what's going on with your sleep. And I do want to end on one final note, and that is be really careful with the monitoring. Okay, the different type of tracking things that you have on you to look at your sleep, look at your blood pressure, look at your heart rate. I don't particularly like them to be on at nighttime for a variety of reasons. I think they cause a lot of anxiety. I think some people have heart rates that go up and come back down. Sometimes it's not concerning, necessarily when they sleep, but it wakes them up, and then they get anxious, and then their heart rate goes up and stays up. So be very, very careful about monitoring your sleep at night, and I would just recommend less is more in this case. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Pets in bed. Dog barks. I'm awake. Then need to meditate or turn on audiobook to fall back asleep. Well, look, I'm a dog lover. You all know that. Saki is our the love of our life. But I would be very careful on your sleep. If the dog's affecting your sleep like that, you may want to move the dog. I know it's hard, but all right. Nice to see you guys, and I hope that was helpful, and I hope you all have a great night and get beautiful sleep tonight. Bye now.